Hello everybody, and let's go ahead and take a look at the great Maccao equipment. I'm getting back into these, sorry, got sick for a little bit. So, let's start things off with the armor itself. Honestly, looks really awesome. I love the green and red with the fabric. It's got a majority green with some silver metal plating here and there. But overall, it does have like this very, I would say kind of like Robin Hood-esque feel to it. There's kind of that half cape that looks like it's made of the feathers from the Great Maccao. I love the hat with the feather. Really cool looking piece of armor. Love it. Dig the design. Total S+ for that. In terms of its abilities, so far it's only been in generations, and that's been vaulting, which basically improves your aerial attacks, which makes sense with how the Maccao fights in the game, so no complaints there. But yeah, armor, S all the way. Next, we will have the Palico's armor. The Palico equipment is very similar to that of the Hunter's equipment. You have green and red being used primarily, a nice hat with some feathering, a bit of a feather aesthetic to the coat in general, and just those nice little Palico touches like the paw print on the helmet. Really nice, great hat. I love that it's a little blade for the weapon. I think that's rather fitting, and the bell that kind of hooks both the cape and the coat is really great. I would give this one a solid A, not one of the greatest of the Palico sets, but still a very solid one. Okay, now it's going to be weapons time. For our first weapon, we have the Insect Glaive. Once again, some great use of feathers on both the bladed end and the back end of the Insect Glaive. Its design is nothing too crazy. It's very simple in terms of the pole and blade with just some feather tuft around it. So definitely not one of my favorites, but it's okay to have a simple but effective Insect Glaive. Up next, we have the long sword. The thing that really sticks out here would definitely be the scabbard, where it starts off with all these puffs of feathers and then kind of comes into a more solid leather holding for the scarab, and then the one piece of feather that wraps around the handle to create kind of like a cover. I forget what the proper term for that is again, of the blade, of the hilt of the blade. And the blade itself is very katana-esque. It's a pretty solid but simple design, very effective in that regard, so I do like this one. Up next is the Charge Blade, kind of one of the lesser ones in my opinion. The shield is neat, but there's not a lot of, like, aside from the colors, a whole lot of Maccao aspects that are sticking out in this weapon to me. Obviously you have some feathers on the blade itself, and to be fair, the sword to this weapon is really cool looking, but otherwise a pretty good but not amazing charge blade. Hammer. This one is definitely way more distinct. It's shaped and designed heavily off of the Great Maccao's tail. So the hammer is like a big bludgeon part of the tail, which is fitting for how Maccao uses it in combat. Very distinct and definitely one of my favorites of Great Maccao's weapons. I like being able to incorporate aspects like that with the monster and weapons, and I think Hammer tends to do that the greatest. Things like fists or heads, or in this case tail parts, being incorporated into the weapon very seamlessly and effectively. Really good. Gun lance. This one's not too bad. The shield on the charge blade I think is a lot cooler looking. The kind of revolver, older gun look with the gun lance aspect in itself is neat. It's got a certain set of charm to it, but much like the charge blade, there's nothing here aside from the colors and some feathers that really shout Great Maccao or make the weapon super distinct in my mind. Next we have dual blades, which do something that I quite like, that I don't think enough dual blades do, and that's they're very distinct individual blades. One's a very thin, kind of stabbing-based dual blade, while the other sword is more thicker and definitely meant more for slicing. Making these blades differentiate themselves when they don't have over-exaggerated designs, I think is a very effective way to make them distinct. The little aspects of like a Great Maccao's claws on the hilts of these blades and the feathers to kind of cover the hands is really neat. Definitely some really effective and nice designs. Next we have the bow, which does something I do like certain bows doing, making the ends of the bow to the whole notch look like a big bird's head, where it has all these feathers and a beautiful crest, where the arrows come out looks like that of a beak. Nice design. Again, another simple one. And then, the only weapon that you cannot get in low rank for the Great Maccao, we have the Great Sword, which is very interesting. There's certain aspects that feel like it's the Great Maccao's tail. I like the kind of, I guess you could say, semi-hook in the blade from where the hilt is. It looks as if like it's a curved wing, but then you have like these claws that again remind me of the tail where the blade comes out. It's very interesting. I have to give it credit for that. So yeah, that's all the weapons. Of the weapons, I would say it's a pretty good B tier, I would say. Nothing super amazing. There were a handful that I think are very distinct and stand out, but I mostly still appreciate the equipment, mostly because of the monster, and I do like a lot of the colors and uses of feathers. So yeah, B. Join me next time where we'll take a look at another set of equipment from Generations Ultimate, and I recently got a Steam Deck to do some emulating, so I can go ahead and start working on some for you and get some proper footage for that at some point. Anyway, thank you all, take care, remember, trans rights are human rights, abolish ICE, free Palestine, and you all take care, and I'll catch you next time.